Fast forward to 1773, the British East India Company is on the brink. It owes the government 1.3 million euros in unpaid duties, has lost its monopoly on tea trade to Dutch and Swedish smugglers, and holds 17 million pounds of surplus tea, enough to supply the American colonies for 3 years, in damp London warehouses where it is molding and losing value every day. The company threatens bankruptcy, which will ripple to British finance. Parliament intervened with the Tea Act passed May 10, 1773. The law grants the company a full rebate on its port duties and allows it to consign tea directly to colonial merchants. Cost plummets. East India tea will sell 9 pence per pound cheaper than smuggled Dutch tea. A market rescue disguised as consumer relief, but the 3 pence Townshend duty remains. A market rescue disguised as consumer relief, but the 3 pence Townshend duty remains. Payable upon landing in America, colonies see the maneuver clearly, accept the bargain tea, and you tacitly accept Parliament's authority to tax without consent. Continental resistance is immediate and near total. Philadelphia's town meeting, the largest public assembly in American history to that date, resolves that no tea will be landed or sold. New York crowds threaten to destroy any ship that attempts it. Charleston stores incoming tea and damp cellars under public guard rather than paid duty. In Boston, the radicals are better organized, the Sons of Liberty more aggressive, and the governor more inflexible. Thomas Hutchinson, appointed royal governor in 1771, draws his salary directly from customs revenue. He has no personal incentive to compromise. When the first tea ship, the Dartmouth, anchored at Griffin's Wharf on November 28, 1773, Hutchinson refused to grant a pass allowing the ship to depart without paying the duty. Eleanor arrived since December 2nd, the Beaver December 7th. 3 vessels, 342 full chests of 112 on Dartmouth, 114 on Eleanor, and 116 on Beaver, containing 92,000 pounds of tea, mostly bohea with small amounts of kungu, singlo, and souchong. At 9,656 sterling, equivalent to roughly 1.7 to 2.5 million depending on adjusted method. Customs regulations grant 20 days for payment before seizure and for sale to cover the tax. The clock starts. Deadline December 6, 17. Daily town meetings grow enormous. Funeral Hall proves too small. They relocate to the old Southmead house. By December 16, the crisis had gripped the entire town. More than 5,000 people, nearly half of Boston's adult population, packed the meeting house. The air is thick with wood smoke from the stoves, the press of bodies, and the tension of waiting. Samuell Adams presides from the moderator's chair. John Hancock, Dr. Joseph Warren, Josiah Quincy, William Molyneux, and others speak in turn. Hours of passionate oratory. Runners gallop back and forth to Hutchinson's country state in Milton. Each time the answer is the same: no pass, pay the duty, or the tea will be seized on the 17th. As twilight falls, the final delegation returns with Hutchinson's unyielding refusal. The meeting hushes. Adams rises slowly, surveys the sea of expectant faces, and speaks the 8 words that change everything. This meeting can do nothing further to save the country. A voice from the back gallery shouts, "The Mohawks are coming!" Cheer explodes. The meeting adjourns in an instant, organized, purposeful chaos. 30 to perhaps 130 men, the range percents because participants ensure lifelong secrecy, many identities were never confirmed, assemble near the harbor, faces blackened with soot, cold dust, or lampblack, blankets draped over shoulders like capes, eagle feathers or dirty plumes stuck in hair, tomahawks, hatchets, clubs in hand. The Mohawk disguise is no childish custom. It is deliberately political symbolism. By adopting the appearance of indigenous warriors, they proclaim, "We are no longer British subjects. We are new people, claiming this land in silence. No churches, no drums, no war cries. Only the soft crunch of boots on thin snow and frozen mud." Griffin's Wharf is dark and quiet. Lanterns burn low on the three ships. Captains, warned by rumor or resigned to fate, offer little resistance. Some hand over keys without protest. Draped boarding parties deep by the harbor. On the Dartmouth, the captain unlocks the hatches himself. The same happens on Eleanor and Beaver. Hatchets flash in the moonlight. Oak chests, each weighing over 200 pounds, are split open with sharp practice strokes. Lids crack. Tea powers out in thick black streams, hundreds of pounds at a time, cascading over the rails into the cold December water. Then sharp, bitter aroma of wet bohea, kungu, singlu, and souchong fills the 3 full hours of methodical destruction. No one is injured. No personal property is stolen. No ship is damaged beyond the cargo. One small padlock is broken. The rear is purchased and replaced before leaving. As the timing is returned, the large chest is emptied. The Mohawks melt back into the shadows. Dawn, December 17th. Boston awakens to a transformed harbor. The tea leaves float in thick mats across the water, drifting outward on the current, staining surface dark brown for miles. Church bells ring in celebration. Bonfires flare in the streets. Tavern toast the Indians of Boston. Patriots view it as a clean, principled victory for liberty. Loyalists are stunned into silence or frantic letter writing to French in England. News races across the colonies by express riders and newspaper. In London, it arrives weeks later by a fast packet. British press erupts. Piracy, rebellion, anarchy. Parliament convenes in white-hot anger. Lord North, under intense pressure, introduces a full coercive acts, called the Intolerable Acts in this country. Between March and May 1774, Boston Port Act, March 31st. Harbor closed to all commerce until the East India Company is fully compensated for the debt. Massachusetts Government Act, May 20th. 1691 charter eviscerated. Most town meetings banned with a governor's permission. Governor's council made appointed rather than elective. Jury selection controlled by the crown. Administration of Justice Act, May 20th. Royal officials accused of capital offences, murder, etc., in execution of duties can be tried in England or another colony. Quartering Act Amendment, June 2nd. Troops may be billeted in private homes, barns, or uninhabited buildings if barracks are unavailable. The strategy is clear. Isolate and economically cripple Massachusetts. Terrify the other colonies into submission. The result is catastrophic for Britain. Virginia's House of Burgesses calls for a General Congress. Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire send livestock, grain, sheep, cattle. South Carolina ships rice and cash. Philadelphia merchants renew non-importation in September 1774. Delegates from 12 colonies convene in Philadelphia, the First Continental Congress. The Intolerable Acts do not crush dissent. They ignite colonial solidarity on an unprecedented scale. Bury the myths once and for all. Myth 1. The colonists were angry about expensive tea. The reality is that the East India tea was deliberately priced lower to attempt purchase of the tea. The fight was never about cost. It was about consent. Myth number 2. It was a chaotic, drunken riot. In reality, it was planned for days, executed with military-like discipline, zero injuries, and minimal collateral damage. Myth number 3. The Indian disguises were meant to frame Native Americans. The reality is that the Mohawk costume was a conscious rejection of British identity, a symbolic declaration of a new American self. Myth number 4. We know exactly who participated. In reality, lifelong oaths of secrecy held firm. Most names were never publicly confirmed in the participants' lifetime. John Adams, watching events unfold from Braintree, wrote to Abigail on December 17th. Last night, 3 cargoes of tea were destroyed. This destruction of the tea is so bold, so daring, so firm, intrepid, and inflexible, and it must have such important consequences, and so lasting that it cannot but consider it as the most magnificent movement of all. Samuell Adams, the quiet mastermind later reflected it does not require a majority to rebel, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on selling brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. The Boston Tea Party was a tipping point. It transformed symbolic resistance into direct confrontation and forced Britain to rebel the iron fist behind its velvet claims of authority. It lost the moral high ground. It won the 13 separate colonies into a proto-nation. It made armed conflict inevitable. Lexington and Concord. April 19th, 1775. Bunker Hill, June 17th. The Declaration of Independence. July 4th, 1776. It proved that when the Patriot claimed rights, it was never granted. When representation is promised but withheld. When the governed are treated as subjects rather than sovereign citizens. The government retained both the right and the duty to resist. The same principle has never expired. It lives up in every stand against arbitrary authority, every demand for accountability, every refusal to bow when conscience says stand. Griffin's Wharf is not a closed chapter. It is an open invitation. A small group, acting with purpose, discipline, and moral clarity, can remind the powerful who truly holds the sovereign. This is the longest, fullest power we have ever been given on Liberty's Brew. If these words stir something deep in you, anger at injustice, pride in our forebears, resolve for today, share this episode if you can. Leave a review to help spread the news, and subscribe so you're locked in for what comes next. Up ahead, the two lanterns hung in the old North steeple. Poised will be your desperate midnight ride. The militia mustering on Lexington Green. The crack of muskets that rang around the world. Until then, keep the flame of liberty burning fierce and unquenchable. One fearless, unbreakable, defiant sip at a time. The end.